Hi everyone, my name is Gabby and I'm a perinatal mental health therapist at Wildflower. Today we're going to answer some questions that came in through our Instagram page for Maternal Mental Health Month. The first one is, how can I support a friend going through postpartum anxiety? And I want to name that just by asking this question, you are already so attuned to this friend's need and are already probably really supportive. So to start off with, in supporting someone who has postpartum anxiety, just showing up and meeting her where she's at, right? And that might look like coming over and bringing coffee and taking a walk around the block, or sitting while she hangs out in her jammies in the living room, but really thinking about how can I meet her where she's at and meet her in her comfort zone to spend time with her and hold space with her. But secondly, how can I empathize with what she's going through and not try to fix it for her? So this isn't about convincing her that the things she's feeling really anxious about aren't going to happen. It's about responses like, that sounds so hard to feel that scared or to feel that worried. And then also normalizing, right? So if you're able to say, my sister had postpartum anxiety and I know that other women feel this. You are not alone. This is not your fault. And then naming if you know that there are people out there who can help with this, there are support groups, there are therapists who specialize in this, but really sending the message that you are not alone, this is not your fault, and you can get better, you can get help with this. But really just showing up and being there and meeting her where she's at.
Hi, I'm Eden Hamidian. I'm the Director of Education here at Wildflower.
And I'm Chrissy Ellis. I'm one of the co-founders of Wildflower.
And we are here to answer a couple of questions we got specifically about postpartum depression and what makes postpartum depression different than other types of depression or major depression. And the first thing we want to talk about is that there's this common misconception that postpartum depression is so much related to the difference in hormones. And while that is part of it, it's really just a very small part of it. And some of the other factors that really contribute to postpartum depression are that, well, this is like the biggest change somebody will be going through in their lives, and it's such a hard one. And you go through this change with so many vulnerability factors: lack of sleep, lack of time to take care of yourself, and this huge identity transformation, all while you're trying to take care of your new infant.
Yes. And one of the defining features of postpartum depression is when it occurs. So the baby blues is something that most people experience after they have a baby, understandably, right? As Eden said, this is such a profound change in someone's life. So there are going to be a lot of emotions, and that is a lot of that impact is hormonal, and the hormonal changes that are occurring after birth. But once that persists after 2 weeks postpartum, it can last up to the first year postpartum. When someone is not feeling like themselves and feeling like something's off, that is really a sign that postpartum depression or other postpartum mood and anxiety disorders may be present. So that leads us then to what do we do?
What do we do? But also I think it's important to talk about some of the other signs you might be seeing, because we think of depression and we think of not being able to get out of bed, not being able to do the things you need to take care of yourself. And new moms often are still going through the motions. They're still taking care of the baby, they're still taking care of themselves, they're still getting so much done. So we might question, is this even depression if I can do all of these things? And the answer is absolutely yes.
Yes. Postpartum depression can look very different. It can be, this sort of internal silent suffering. It can be rage. Mm-hmm. It can be shame. It can be guilt. And again, bits of these experiences are normal. So we don't want to pathologize all of these emotional experiences, but I think the persistent nature of them and feeling, again, really, really off, and just knowing that postpartum depression really, truly does look different in everyone. So there is not sort of this one size fits all.
Exactly. And so what should we do? I mean, there is so much support available. There's therapy, there are support groups, there's psychiatry with psychiatrists specifically trained in perinatal mental health.
Yes.
So, Chrissy, what would you recommend people do to access that?
I think the most important thing to do if partner or a friend or a family member, is suffering, or you suspect they may be experiencing postpartum depression, is to reach out. Reach out for support. It is the single best thing that you can do for your baby. You do not have to be alone, and places like Wildflower are here to help.
Hi, I'm Gabby from Wildflower, and today I'm going to answer another question that came in for us for Maternal Mental Health Month. This question is, can you tell me a little bit about intrusive thoughts? And I definitely can. Intrusive thoughts are really common, particularly in postpartum moms. 70% of moms report experiencing intrusive thoughts. So again, really common. What are intrusive thoughts? Intrusive thoughts are unwanted or sometimes terrifying thoughts that pop into your head automatically in sort of an intrusive way, right? So they're not intentional. They just pop into your head. The content of them is often really scary and terrifying stuff and can be disturbing, right? Very, very often they can be about harm coming to baby. Now, again, with how common they are, intrusive thoughts are not always seen as bad or harmful. In fact, they have sort of an evolutionary purpose, which is that in some ways they exist to help keep baby safe. And an example of this would be a mom walking downstairs with her newborn baby might have an intrusive thought of dropping baby down the stairs and something happening that hurts baby. Well, having that thought might actually make her kind of hold and snuggle baby a little tighter and step down a little more carefully and help her protect that baby while she's walking down the steps. So in some ways we see these as really protective. And there are instances where they can be less helpful and more harmful to mom. So if mom finds that she's having a hard time sleeping or having a hard time bonding with baby and enjoying time with baby and just feeling really, really disturbed by the intrusive thoughts and as though the intrusive thoughts are impacting her ability to live her day-to-day life, then this is a time when she would want to talk to someone like a therapist specializing in perinatal mental health.
Hi guys! As you may or may not know, May is Maternal Mental Health Month. And what this means is that it's a special month to recognize and honor and really celebrate the importance of maternal mental health and the impact that it can have on everyone from moms to babies to families to the community as a whole. Something that we thought that would be helpful to talk about today is talking about self-care during the postpartum period. And, just some simple tips and tricks of things you can do to make sure to take care of yourself in this really vulnerable and intense time. As you may know, of course, during this time, it's not like anyone has a ton of time to do self-care. And I think sometimes when we talk about self-care during the postpartum period, people can kind of blow it off of like, gosh, I don't have time for that. Things are too intense, too overwhelming. And it is still really important to try to take care of yourself. Because if you're not taking care of you as a new mom, then it is even more challenging to take care of the baby, take care of family, take care of all the things that you've got going on. So we have some ideas for you about how to make sure you can take care of yourself. One of these ideas that can be very helpful is the idea of making sure to protect your sleep. So we know sleep in the postpartum period is chaotic and insane and all over the place. And it is still very important to protect your sleep to the best of your ability. So what that can look like is trying to find some time within that day period, that 24-hour period, where you are getting a few blocks of uninterrupted sleep. This sleep can be hugely protective for the brain and hugely protective for preventing postpartum mood and anxiety disorders or concerns, or even helping you manage those postpartum mood and anxiety concerns if they are currently happening. And if you are having a hard time falling or staying asleep, not due to baby, so like a baby's chilling and you are still having a hard time with this, please make sure to reach out to your OBGYN, your midwife, or any of your medical providers, as they can help you navigate this in a way to make sure that you're protecting and having as much sleep as you can during this period. Super important. Another thing that can be really important during this period is leaning into your support network. Now, if you have family and friends close by, that's great. Reach out, ask for help, ask for support with doing chores around the house, like laundry, cooking, cleaning, those things. Like, you do not need to be doing those during the postpartum period. If you don't have family or friends nearby, other options might be hiring or leaning into a postpartum doula that can come out to support you during this period. They can do things around the house. They can help you take care of baby, help take care of any other kids in the home, things like that. Other ideas might be joining a new mom support group. A lot of mental health practices might have new mom support groups available. Wildflower frequently does as well. Or even looking at Facebook and your neighborhood that you live in. And a lot of times you'll see new moms groups based off of the area or like the time baby was born. And that can be a really helpful way to help build more of a community for yourself if you're not having one close by to you. Other things that might be helpful is to make sure that you're taking care of your physical body. So when I think of this, I think of things like, in a given day, try to take a shower. If that is too much for that day during the postpartum, try to wash your face, brush your teeth, do some kind of basic self-care hygiene things that can really help you feel like a whole new person in a way. And if you're struggling to do that, see if someone from your support system can come over and hold baby while you're showering. Bring baby into the shower with you, put baby in a bouncer right outside the shower, trying to do different things so that way you can make sure that you're taking care of your body. Other things that might be helpful is making sure that you're stocked up on really easy grab and go snacks. So usually in the postpartum period, it is not going to be super conducive for making, very intricate or intense meals. You want something quick, easy, grab and go. So what are your favorite snacks? Healthy or not, doesn't even matter, just things that you enjoy eating. And can you make sure that you have those in your house and somewhere where you can easy grab and go? So if you have a chair where you normally feed baby, can you have like a little snack thing next to that chair so that way you can eat while baby's eating? Or in that little area, you have some snacks, you have some water, some hydration. How to make sure that you're fueling your body while you're taking care of baby, while you're doing all these other things can be really important. I think another huge self-care thing during this postpartum period is also, honestly, helping your own self manage expectations. Prior to baby, you might have been the type of person that was able to do everything under the sun within your 24-hour window. The house was always clean, things were always put together. And if that was you, great. And I promise you'll get back to that. And during this initial post-period time, it might be really important to loosen up those expectations on yourself. It's okay if the house is messier. It's okay if things are more chaotic. The most important thing during this time period is that you're taking care of baby and that you're taking care of yourself. Everything else can really be secondary to that. And so trying, which I know is really hard, at the end of the day to tell yourself like, hey, I am doing the best I can. I am doing these things to take care of baby, to take care of myself, and it's okay if the kitchen looks like a disaster. It's okay if the laundry's not done. That will all be there waiting for you at another time. And also, perhaps, someone in your support system can help you get some of those things done so that you can really focus on taking care of yourself and baby during this time. And lastly, something to really keep in mind is the postpartum period is incredibly hard. I realize I might be biased, and I think everyone can benefit from therapy. And I think during the postpartum period, this is a period where so much is changing in your life, your identity, how you're managing your day-to-day chores, your self-care, mood, anxiety, just everything under the sun. And if you are really struggling, one, that is okay. And two, you can reach out for help and support your OBGYN, your midwife, or any of your medical providers to see if there's any therapy referrals or recommendations that might be helpful during this time. You don't have to be alone during this time, and there are people out there that can help and support you. And if you're interested in learning more about what options Wildflower has, you can head over to our website at wildflowerllc.com. You can check out our social media stuff, look at our webzine, our blog. We have a lot of information and resources out there where you can kind of choose of like what might be most helpful, what's some grab and go stuff for you. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful. Let us know what you think.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabby and I'm the Perinatal Mental Health Program Manager at Wildflower, and I'm here today for Maternal Mental Health Month to give my top 3 book recommendations for new moms. Starting with Good Moms Have Scary Thoughts by Karen Kleiman. This is a really, really wonderful book. I actually recommend it to all new moms that I work with. It is a really user-friendly book. It has sort of a lot of graphics that makes it really digestible, I think, for new moms who can look at a few pages and come back to it weeks later if they need to. But it is really, really validating and normalizing of the very complicated mix of emotions that can show up in the transition to motherhood. It really, I think, does a good job of painting a portrait of the really complicated internal world of new moms and just how isolating it can feel. And really, this book does a really good job, I think, of normalizing it and validating it for all moms and helping them understand what's going on with them during this transition. So highly recommend for every new mom out there. Secondly, we have Molly Millwood's To Have and to Hold. This book really focuses on what happens to couples during the transition to parenthood. It's really based in really solid research and just really informative, and I think also normalizing of some of the changes that can happen for couples when they become parents that can feel really, really hard and it can feel at times detrimental. So I think this book does a really good job of helping people understand those changes that they're going through, which can help them navigate those changes. And lastly, because all new moms need a dose of humor and need to laugh, we have I'll Show Myself Out, which is a memoir by a writer and producer, Jessie Klein. She writes about her experience as a new mom in a way that will probably make you laugh and cry and feel all the feelings, and it was just evocative in the best way. Again, crying while you're laughing, there's truly nothing better, and I highly recommend this one for new moms too. Hi everyone, I'm going to answer another question that came in through our Instagram page for Maternal Mental Health Month, which is it still maternal mental health if I'm struggling with infertility? And the answer from my perspective is a resounding yes. There is nothing more maternal than putting your body and mind through the hell of infertility to create your family. Many, many women going through fertility treatments struggle with depression and anxiety. Some studies show as many as 52%. In fact, the treatments and the procedures and the hormones that one takes when going through fertility treatments can really, really exacerbate depression and anxiety and cause it to be much worse. That said, women going through fertility treatments have reported similar levels of depression and anxiety to women going through cancer treatment. So there's just a huge, huge mental health impact of infertility, and it being part of that journey to motherhood, it's absolutely maternal mental health. And there are wonderful resources out there, support groups and perinatal therapists who can help on this journey.